And ladies and gentlemen, in an effort to use up my blue ice here, I have already added the rum. I'm going to have a drink and then I'm going to answer question 21 of my 250 philosophical questions to answer. And that is, what is the meaning of life? Now, some of you may recall that I did a video on finding meaning in life. And I would not do this one were it not for the fact that it's on my list of questions and I'm going to make every question answered. So, yeah. Before I go any further, let me, of course, remind you that for every 1,000 subscribers I get, I do purchase one of these bracelets from the company 4Ocean. 4Ocean pulled a pound of trash out of the ocean every time I do that. If you'd be so kind as to comment, like, and subscribe, you'd be doing your part for a better world. Now, if you say life, you have to be a little more specific. Do you mean human life? Okay? Because, life, an amoeba, what's its purpose? Its purpose is to carry on its genetics, to replicate, to make more of itself. And we actually call a life form that has replicated itself successful, okay? That's one of those things about being a successful life form, is that you have perpetuated your kind, right? We say that, like a hybrid, like a liger, for example, I don't believe a liger is fertile, so a lion-tiger hybrid is not considered a viable life form. You can create one, but it can't have kids of its own, so it being unable to have kids means that it's not successful, right? So that's one of those things about life on a biological level. Our reason for existence is to carry on the species, right? That's, one of those things. We eat and we mate. Eating and mating are very important to us. Now, then you create humans. And suddenly you have questions like Abraham Lincoln, all right? Most people would say that he was a pretty successful human being. He became president of the United States. He's a household name, all right? Shouldn't forget to drink my drink. He is of no descendants now. He had descendants of his own, but the last of his descendants died childless, I believe sometime in the 90s. So this raises the question, do we not think of him as a successful human? He doesn't have any children, all right? But then, if you measured success by the number of children you have, well, if some guy goes around, then Genghis Khan would be the most successful human being who ever lived. He is world record most children who ever existed. But we're not just animals, okay? We are animals, okay? We are made of meat, we are animals. But we're not just animals. Part of our concept of success is to carry on our philosophies. Okay, now understand this much. If, for example, your parents were Nazis, if they don't make you a Nazi, yes, they did fail. But that's not a proper philosophy, is it? So let's just say that for one point, the meaning of life is to evolve yourself, okay? As you grow old, you should become more wise, you should become more intelligent, you should move past your silly biases and not create Nazis. Not creating Nazis is generally a good thing. But we as a species, we should evolve our philosophy. And we should evolve our species. So even if you don't have, I don't think Gandhi had offspring. I believe he wound up being unable to have sex or something. I mean, that's what the movie said anyway. But he changed the world. So, whereas he didn't pass on his genetic information, he passed on his philosophy, and passing on that philosophy was a good thing. Now, we could learn a lot from Gandhi. He believed in nonviolence, and believing in nonviolence, got him to change his world, right? I think there's still a lot of violence in his world. We don't take enough from him. So, you could say that his influence is falling. You might say that another successful human being, if you consider him a human being, would be Jesus of Nazareth. I mean, look at him. Christianity is essentially his doing. However, you would also have to point out that his genetic people, the Jews, are not being treated very well by this world. So there is definitely a schism there in what he accomplished. I mean, from what I understand, bro, Jesus was about love, man. Like, he was a hippie. He was like, hey man, I mean, let's love each other. Let's not have pain and hate, and just love each other and be good people, and let's get along. And that didn't really happen. So where he lived is now a hotbed of hatred and pain, and a lot of it is directed towards his people. Just understand that. So, I mean, on the one hand, like me, I don't have any children, and I don't consider myself successful. Not because I don't have children, but because I'm not financially successful and I'm not leaving a major impact. 100 years from now, I don't know if my videos will still be on the internet. But if they're not, I mean, is there any great loss to humanity? Probably not. I get a lot of comments that these videos are very old school YouTube. It's some random guy talking and relaying his opinion. And you know what? The thing about that is that that's what people are watching. And I'm going to make the videos people watch. Okay? I would like to build a following, and I would like to do other things. There are a lot of other things I'd like to do. I would like to get to the point where, to do my YouTube shorts once a week, I head over to a friend's house and I pay him to do my YouTube shorts for me. And then, every week I head back over there and I get a flash drive full of YouTube shorts, and then I upload them to the internet, and that's what we do. And why would I want to do that? Well, for one thing, I would like to give my friend a paycheck. I have a particular friend in mind. I would probably have to buy all of the equipment for him to do this at this point because he's out of it and he'd have to start over from scratch learning. But I mean, I would do that if I had the money. If I could make money on YouTube, I would take people from my life, there's a list of people who I would try to help, and he's on that list. It's just one of those things that in my mind, there is always this list. And the list, sometimes a name goes off, normally because somebody dies, and sometimes a name goes on. And if I could, I would help all these people. I would make an impact. But I'd like to not die childless. That's on the one hand. I want to have children. I've never been in a serious relationship. I'm not great with women. I don't go out much. And I mean, most of that is just basic economy. There's not a lot I like doing. And if there is something I like doing, I there needs to be this. okay, here's the person I want to do it with, and here's the thing I want to do. And those two things don't come together very often. On the one hand, I would really like to be the guy that frequents the major theaters here in Los Angeles. You know, I would like to go see every play at the Pantages and the Amundsen, which I don't think is that hard. I don't think I don't think a new play is opening every week. It's like, oh, well, Beetlejuice is doing Beetlejuice the musical, or Back to the Future the musical is playing at the Amundsen now. And it's like it'll be playing at the Amundsen for a while. Another play will not come about. But, it's just one of those things, is that I'd like to be that guy that, I'm going out to these nice, fun events. But, I mean, it's just, yeah, I'd like to be that guy, but those things are expensive, and, like, I'm not going to get a season pass to a local theme park and then invite somebody and take them all the time. It doesn't work that way. So yeah, I mean, my life is not terribly successful. And what would I like to do to make my life successful? I'd like to have children. I'd actually like to open a vineyard. I'm not even a big alcohol person. I'm making these videos because I have nothing to do with my alcohol. But I'd like to open a vineyard. I'd like to open a vineyard somewhere in a rural area outside of town where the population is dying. And, you open a vineyard and you create jobs and an economy in that town. And what do I want to do with this vineyard? I want to be able to grow whatever is a local plant life that can be made into wine. And I mean, they can make just about anything into wine nowadays. There's dandelion wine. There's pumpkin wine. I don't think there's pine wine. But I bet you could make pine wine. You tried hard enough. I don't know if anybody would want to drink it, but you could make it. They make spruce beer, Anyway. So yeah, I'd like to be culturally significant. But hey, the world doesn't work that way. Everybody thinks that they're the hero of their story, when in reality, most of us are NPCs. Anyway, that's the world we live in. Thank you for sharing this moment with me. I'm Richard. Hi everybody, I'm Danger Ducky, and this is the part of the video where I remind you to comment, like, and subscribe. I'm also giving time for there to be links to the next video and subscriptions. You should comment, like, and subscribe, because for every 1,000 subscribers, this channel will buy a bracelet from For Ocean, and that will pull a pound of trash out of the ocean. It's a big ocean, and there's a lot of trash there. We also buy medals from the Conqueror, and every one of those means that 5 trees are planted, so that we will have a cleaner world for you and me to live in. Danger Donkey says, be a good Samaritan, float like a butterfly, and comment, like, and subscribe!